What's up, everybody? Keith Jameson, aka Gator Guy 231, here for a Tuesday breakdown of the EPL Showdown slate between West Ham and Tottenham. Didn't know what to think about this one, to be honest with you, in terms of what prize pools would be before it got released. But Draftkings is releasing the results on these Showdown slates midweek, not so much on the weekend, but midweek, and making them bigger. They're getting full. We have a huge EPL Classic slate tomorrow. I'm sure that Man City versus Chelsea Thursday will be insane. So it's really turning out to be a fun summer of soccer. If you are looking for a new soccer community, we would love you to choose FSI, have the $40 special till end of the European season coming on. So join in on the fun. So let's just get right into the games and maybe just talk about like what maybe we should expect here, because this is a weird one. So like, let's talk before you can go to the odds. Like, let's just talk about the two teams and just from like a DFS standpoint. Neither team is insanely DFS friendly. For West Ham, Robert Snodgrass is a guy that we enjoyed playing. High crosser, set monopoly, but he's out. Last week, or I should say Saturday, Thomas Susek and Mark Noble were the only ones to take corners of the starters. Cresswell actually took none. When Miguel Lanzini came in, I think he played like 20 minutes, took 3 corners. So he, at this point is the preferred corner taker. Felipe Anderson, I don't know what the hell happened or what West Ham or West London or all of this stuff did to him. He went from like a stud and somebody that we not only like love to watch, but love to play DFS with, whether it was Lazio or even beginning of West Ham, and he just is a shell of himself. So yeah, just West Ham, they suck for DFS right now. On the other side, though, with Spurs, like they're notoriously bad for DFS unless the game flow hits and we actually get them down 1-0. Then Jose goes, oh, floodgates, go ahead, cross the ball, go ahead, shoot, do all these things. But when 0-0 early or 1-0, it's just all shell. It's low passing. It's very, very not ambitious. So, we just got to be like go into the slate understanding what you're doing with, and like let's try to pluck out the best plays. Now, all this being said, and it's un-DFS friendly that Spurs is. This is a Spurs stack situation. West Ham, like if you watch that Wolves game, they just lacked ambition. They lacked like even like really looking like a team. It was just gross football. All right, so let's just go over the sets, then I'll go over the tacticals, but they're kind of my overview of things. So I already so plus 400 for West Ham, minus 155 for Spurs. So on the Spurs sets, I just kind of want to bring this up. If Gio Lo Celso plays, first off, he's just insanely underpriced, so I really hope he does. He came in for, I think it was 25 minutes last game. I think he put up like 560K. Gio Lo Celso is a baller. Is the guy that you want to have if in. Hell, there's an argument to be made with in GBP that you could even play him as a sub. Just based on his price. They have him egregiously underpriced. So last game, Son and Lamela split. Son took all the right-sided corners, Lamela on the left. Lamela is just never going to be a DFS guy. I like he was for a bit. To me, he just doesn't fit the bill of a guy that I want. He's always going to sub. And I don't know. There's just not enough aggression from him when I even watch him that I think it's worth it. So, Son's going to be a core play and somebody that you build around. I think the biggest decision out of the slate is going to be Harry Kane. So let's just kind of go down and we'll talk about that. So he definitely, to me at least, looked off the pace versus United, but it's still Harry Kane. He is every single game going to get back to fitness more and more, and you're going to have the salary. So he's going to be very similar to like Aguero was yesterday. I was all in on Aguero. He was on my cover. Kind of sucks. I still think he probably actually takes that PK if he can walk. But He couldn't. He subbed out. The floodgates open. Aguero wasn't in for the floodgates opening. Rest is history. For those that won that GPP, like that line was very nice and made a ton of sense when you faded Aguero to fit the other attacking pieces. So a little salty that I didn't get a chance to get that one in. But, I think you play that game, like 100 times. Aguero probably scores one or two, 90% of the time. So, one of these things I talk to a lot of people that ask me some questions, but DFS is really important not to be too results oriented, be process oriented. If I would have told you for the game that Man City scores 5 and Sergio Aguero starting, you probably lock in Sergio Aguero. So just keep that in mind. All right. So back to that though. Harry Kane is like today's Aguero. If Tottenham go up 5-0 and I ask you how many goals does Harry Kane score, you're probably going to give me 1 or 2. If you say that he scored 0, one, you're being contrarian, but 2, you have a chance to win a lot of money if they win 5-0 and you don't play Kane and he does not score. So just keep that very in mind. He is cash viable because of that. And because of West Ham's terrible defense, I think that he does have a decent shot for here. All right, Son, I already mentioned is a lock. I think even with Gio in, that you would see Son split sets, but in this situation, so we're going to go off of this projected, he would potentially be on a monopoly. Harry Winks at one point took a little bit, but that's just like so long ago. I don't think that we have to worry about Winks playing. That said, he's very cheap, fits a couple builds, so I can see that. Dele Alli back from suspensions, always a GPP only target for me. There isn't much of a shot floor, but he is kind of that pivot player, gets the ball deep and play makes. Just understand, like, if he doesn't get a goal or assist, he very well could show up with 4 to 60K. I'd much prefer Bergwijn over him. Now and it was just, I keep wanting Gio. I really want Gio Lo Celso, if you haven't noticed. Maybe Gio starts over Bergwijn, or they do more of like a diamond type of thing where Deli gets over here, Son's there, they play some wing backs. There's a lot of different things that Jose could do. I think the other position that's more natural to Gio is where Sissoko plays, but we know Jose loves him some Musa Sissoko. And for good reason. He does a ton. Like, not for DFS. Look at his logs. What you see is what you get there. But for real football, he does a ton. Now, I do want to talk about the fullbacks for Spurs, because I think this is really important from a tactical standpoint that affects DFS. So if you look at since Jose's been at Spurs, and even if you go back to Jose at United, really just United, but Ben Davies is very, very similar to a back three player for them. So he will come up here and kind of forged a 3-man back line when they're in possession. He might get a little bit forward, but he's not hitting this byline, like very, very slim. He is a defensive player. Serge Aurier, on the other hand, has complete freedom. So Aurier becomes kind of a winger. Bergwijn or whoever's on here on the right tucks a little bit in. And so then you have a back line of Davies, Alderweireld, Sanchez kind of protecting the Tottenham back line. Harry Winks and Musa Sissoko doing work in the middle. But let's Aurier be very offensive. So Ben Davies, I don't really see playing him much at all. You could get a random goal. Obviously, you could get a random assist. All those things happening. But when we're talking about floor and optimal building, we're looking for guys that are going to accumulate. So Serge Aurier 100% fits the bill of a defender that can get incredibly offensive here, especially with Spurs, I think, being in possession of the ball and being attacking a lot. Serge Aurier is my guy. So I think the two easiest cash plays in the slate are Son and Aurier. And then just kind of filling in your Kane, Dele, Bergwijn, and hopefully Gio Lo Celso. Hugo Lloris very in play. He was absolutely stunning versus Man United. That save on, who was it? Martial, where he tipped it over the post. It's just going one way, flip it over. Like, Lloris is class. I've given him some slack, but it's funny. The Jose system too, is sometimes about making guys take gross shots or longer shots. So it does benefit Lloris. He's getting a ton of action since Jose's got there. So, whereas he needs to give one more goalkeeper point, then I'll jump over to West Ham. There's not that much to talk about. I really did not like the Ederson play yesterday, and for cash, it was fine for GPP, I guess. But here's the reason. So we always knew City was going to have the ball, 70, 80% of the time. Um, the only time Burnley was going to get a shot was on a counter or a complete breakdown or a slip or any of these things, right? Where Ederson was going to be in a very, very tough situation at that to make the save. They weren't going to be getting, build up, 20-yard shots. That wasn't going to happen. So Ederson was never going to see much work, meaning his ceiling was what? Maybe one save, maybe two. So that means at best you're getting 12 to 14 DK with a clean plus one sheet or win plus clean sheet. If he didn't conceded, you immediately were going down to 3 DK. So you get the -2 for the goal allowed, 5 for the win, and you get 3 DK for 7,000. It was the same price as João Cancelo, who consistently gets 8. So to me, it was always João over Ederson, but I did see Ederson turn up a ton. I saw the talk in our Discord. I did just want to re-bring that up. And I do think that you need to think about that when you're playing goalies, is the ceiling, because it is a ceiling play. It's very high variance. Ederson, City was always winning that game, but to go from 3 to 12, that's not actually huge variance. We want those goalies that can give us, 5 saves with a clean sheet win to give us 20 to really make it worth it to take on that risk of 3. Because for 7,000, taking 3 DK, that's a dive bomb. So I say all this to say Hugo Lloris does have save upside. West Ham is very much struggling to score the ball. So I do think that that's a lot more viable play today than it was yesterday. Okay, West Ham side, grossness. So I talked about the Aurier thing for Spurs. The concerning thing on West Ham is that's what happened with Cresswell last game, and was happening a little bit to him before the break. So Nagakia, Siege, need you, buddy. Siege today. Let me know if I even got close. But Jeremy Nagakia, it's going to change every time I say it. Anyhow, he was bombing forward versus West Ham or versus Wolves. Spent a ton of time close to the touchline. Cresswell, on the other hand, was up here to back, and it was literally like a back 3. Now, Cresswell has always been an offensive guy, sometimes takes corners, but if he is playing in a back 3 type of thing or a pseudo back 3 in and out of possession, I want nothing to do with that. So I think I'm going to be very, very careful with Aaron Cresswell. As mentioned in this formation, Soucek and Noble took over Anderson and Fornals. So I think, my favorite play on West Ham, which is just gross to say, if this is the lineup, is Mark Noble. He is on PKs. Was taking some corners before break too. So he's about 5K, maybe 5,200. I don't remember the exact number, but, just give it to me. I think that's fine for your one piece of West Ham. Mikel Antonio, I'm a little interested if he plays out wides, but for that to happen, you'd have to see Sebastian Haller in. If he's not in, him as a lone striker, I have no interest in. Jared Bowen's a little overpriced. Pablo Fornals, is a really nice player, but he's lost there. So I think I'm really just about Noble. If you think that if you buy into the one Soucek corner, go for it. Now Nagikia, I'm very cheap. Bomb forward. Also plays on this, the Tottenham line that isn't going to be bombing forward themselves, giving him a little bit more freedom to look offensively. So I think it's okay. I can support that play on builds. Declan Rice, very defensive, but very cheap, and just a quality player. So I think it's fine for last piece in. I think more and more that I'm talking about it and that I had built before this, 5-1 stacks are very in play for Spurs. Sorry about the hiccups. With I wouldn't go any less than 4 for an optimal build. Go from there. Fabianski, if you really don't think that Spurs can score on them, I mean, they have a ton of quality, but if you think they'll struggle, that's always going to be a high upside play. That potentially may have the most upside on West Ham, but also comes with the downside, like we saw with Nick Pope yesterday. Finally, just watch for Miguel Lanzini. Miguel Lanzini he's in that 5K range, super cheap, and he will be on sets. That's the one thing we've learned. So look for him. Outside of that, we are done today. I want to just thank everybody continuously again for the support and watching these videos. It's really been fun, seeing Soccer DFS grow and then just continue to see these videos go up. Once again, I really hope you're enjoying it. Like, subscribe, comment. All those are the best way that you can help us. If you do have any questions, give me a shout at GatorGuy231 on Twitter. All right, guys. Good luck today, and I will see you tomorrow morning to break down the huge EPL slate. Take care, guys.